I wanna all night. Say it.
Hey, what's up? Hello, Kalibisa Kilisedi, and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new, join the crew, and if you're a returning subscriber, I appreciate you. Today's video is all about unpopular opinions. I'm going to be sharing some of mine. I've asked on my Instagram for some people to tell me their unpopular opinions, and we'll just be discussing all of that. You will tell me also in the comments down below which ones you agree with, which ones you don't agree with. So without wasting any more time, let's get straight into the video. So the first opinion is my opinion, right? And I think with this one, it's like, it's either you love it or you don't, right? I'm not a big fan of avocados. I'm not a fan of avocados, period. I don't think avocados are great. I don't think that they belong in the food industry. Avocado for me, it tastes like oil, if that makes sense. Like, I understand when people say, like, the people that also don't like avocados, there are some that always say avocado tastes like Vaseline. And I get that because it tastes like oil. Like, it doesn't have a significance to it. So I don't get why people love avocado as much as they do. Like, why do you love avocado that much? Like, it's literally not that great at all. The thing about avocado is that it's funny because, like, for every single person I've met, it's either you love it or you hate it. There's no gray area. Like, I've never heard someone say, oh, I think avocados are okay. Like, it's either you really like them or you like hate them. I'm on the side that hates avocados. I do not love avocados. Overrated, overhyped, not for me. Give me 0. Second opinion, that is also my opinion, is I think Insecure is actually quite average. Like, the show Insecure, it's so average. Like, there's nothing to it. And funny enough, I've watched 4 seasons. I didn't watch that latest, the 5th season, because I just had no interest to do so. But I watched like all 4 seasons. I watched the seasons because I didn't have anything to watch and it was there. I watched it because it's average, but I didn't watch it because I was like, oh my gosh, Insecure. Like, nah, I'm okay. Would never recommend it. If anybody were to ask me, who were like, oh, what series should I watch? I would 100% not recommend Insecure. Overhyped. It's a very average show for me. Now onto the things that you guys said on Instagram. Someone just said pineapple does not belong on pizza. I don't hate it. I'm not against it. I understand why people say that pineapples don't belong on pizza. Like, if I'm having something savory, let it be savory. If it's gonna be sweet, let it be sweet. I don't believe in putting it in one thing and, you know, going about my life. So that's why I feel like I'm a bit off with the whole pineapple on pizza chat. However, it's not that bad. Like, it's not that bad. Like, if a pineapple's on the pizza, I'm gonna eat the pizza, you know? I would much rather have pineapple on pizza than have avocado on my pizza. That's for sure. So pineapple and pizza, I don't know, you guys will tell me. How do you guys feel about pineapple and pizza? It's not that bad. Another opinion says people that consider themselves intellects are often narrow-minded. I think I agree with this because in most cases, people that think of themselves as like highly intellectual and all of that stuff, a lot of the times they are not open to hearing other people's opinions. And I think that that's where the fault comes in, because it's like, your way is like the right way, you know? And I think I agree with that. People that are intellectual tend to be narrow-minded. And obviously, we're not saying everybody, but just a general opinion that if you consider yourself of like high intelligence and things like that, those people are often very narrow-minded. So I get that opinion, and I think I agree as well. Like, yeah, I think I agree with that one. Next opinion says the Blood and Water season 1 acting was terrible. I agree. I watched Blood and Water, both seasons. It was very similar to like the Insecure thing. Like, I watched it because it was there, and with Blood and Water, I was more interested in the storyline, like, more than the actual acting in the series. There's a lot of questionable actors there, and I'm just like, someone could have done a better job at that. So I agree, the acting on Blood and Water. And then the thing is, there are some great actors, like, in my opinion. I think there are some great actors. I think they try to balance like new actors and old actors and like putting it together, because the cast, like the older people that are on the cast are very like matured actors that have been in the game for a long time. So some of the acting is great, but I think they tried to balance it by introducing like new actors. So that kind of just, you know, made things a bit shaky, because some of the actors, you can tell, are nah, you know. So I think they tried to balance it, and unfortunately, as viewers, we were able to see, nah, it's not the greatest. And we were able to see the difference between like good acting and like people that are just getting in, you know, and people that are not the greatest actors. So I agree with that. Blood and Water season 1 acting, not the greatest. Even season 2, there's a new guy that came in season 2. I also didn't like him and his acting, but what can we say? Another one says that relationships will not work without money. And I agree to an extent. Obviously, I don't think that relationships should be based on money. I don't think that's the way to go about it, because there are other things that are like that sustain a relationship, of course, right? However, money plays a role. It does play a role to an extent. If you're going to be in a relationship, you obviously want to be doing things with the person. You want to go on dates, you want to do this, you want to go do that. And if you don't have money, like if you have no money, you cannot do all those things. So does it depend on the people? Maybe, you know, but in essence, I think that a relationship requires money. I don't think that it should be like the foundation of the relationship, of course, but I do think like it influences the relationship to an extent. Next opinion says shows don't need to have like long, explicit sex scenes. Like that's not necessary. And I think I really do agree with this, because it gets annoying. The thing about it is that most of the time, the sex scenes that are in the shows do not have a specific purpose to the actual show. Like it's just an extra scene, you know? So I get what she means when she says it shouldn't be like every episode and they also become like tediously long, you know? So I get that. That can get like frustrating, especially if it's a series. I agree that they shouldn't be like so many and like in every single episode and it's like tediously long and all of that stuff. I 100% agree with that. I'm upset at this one. Like I'm upset. How could you say that watermelons are overhyped? Like how could you, are you not embarrassed to even say that on a public platform? I do not agree with this. Watermelons are like literally my favorite fruits ever, like one of my favorites. Love watermelon. Watermelon bangs. You know why I love watermelon, guys, man? I love watermelon because not only can you like eat it, like I mean obviously you eat it, né? But also it also like quenches a thirst. Like it's like a drink and a meal at the same time. Like it's two in one, you know? You're just beefing with watermelon for whatever your personal reasons are. Watermelons are great. I think that they are well hyped. I think that they deserve the hype. They deserve the commotion, the love. Watermelons are great. So I don't want to hear anything that is watermelon, that is against watermelon. I don't like that. This one is a bit tricky, but I think I understand what she's trying to say, right? So this says that trans people that are in like the LGBTQ community are very violent with like the message that they're trying to bring about. Obviously, the LGBTQ community has its own desires, messages, all of that stuff, right? But the issue is that the execution is not always the greatest, you know? So if I see someone and call them by he or she or whatever they are, right? But let's say I see a man and I say he. In most cases, they become very like defensive about it. And like, you want to attack me for calling you a he, and it's like, whoa, okay. You know, because obviously when I called you he or I called you she, there was no bad intention with that. So it's not necessary to fight with like anger. I can get if you need to correct me, like of course, like if I'm calling you by the wrong pronouns, of course correct me and be like, hey, listen, I go by she or I go by this. If this happens, you don't always have to be angry. And I think that that's what this opinion is saying. For most part, people from the LGBTQ community, Q plus community, often respond in anger. And I think that there's a missing part where it's like there needs to be a bit of an understanding that essentially, guys, we're literally in such a transforming world right now. None of us have like lived like this, and for most part, none of us were raised like that. Like these things are coming to us now as we're much older, so we're still adapting with the changes that come within this like life that we're living in. So I think that there needs to be an understanding that we are still trying to come to an understanding of the LGBTQ plus community. So it is by natural instinct for me to call someone a he or a she, you know, it is by natural instinct. Is it right? Maybe not, but my chat is just that I think that you need to respond in a better way. I think that's what this opinion is saying. It's not necessary to be violent. It's not necessary to be violent about your pronouns, because you could just properly like correct someone about that situation. So yeah, this one is, it's a conversation on its own, you know, it's an entire conversation on its own. But I think that I hear what she's saying, and to me, I feel like she's also the person that gave me this opinion. I think she's also speaking from a point of like this has happened to her before, you know, from experience. So I get where she's going with that, and I think that there is just there's lack of understanding, and I guess on both sides also, because I think we also do not understand the struggles that the people from the LGBTQ plus community go through. So for them, they're easily frustrated because they've gone through so much. But for us, it's also like, but I wish the person just could be more patient and understanding. So there's this like bridge, and there's this gap that now brings us to a point where we start fighting each other, and there's literally no need for those things to be happening. But yeah, that one is also that's a conversation on its own. Another opinion. Now this one is mine, man. I just don't understand people that think that if you dress a certain way, you are like the fashion icon. Let's all relax. Like, please, just because you're putting on your grandma's pants and things like that, that's nice. It's great for you and everything, man. But it doesn't have to mean that someone that doesn't dress like that is less stylish than you. Like, it doesn't have to mean that. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like, there's a specific group of people, and I think that you guys understand what I'm saying. There's a specific group of people that dress a specific way, né? And that's great for them. Like, if you're gonna dress like that, that's fine. That's what you want to do. That's your style, right? My issue is that you think that any other style outside of that is horrible. That's where my problem is. Like, why must someone that's dressed in an entire different aesthetic be less stylish than you? Like, why must you be at the top in the terms of like who's the most stylish and all of that stuff? Also, the chat is what defines a good style. Like, I think that's the real conversation that we're supposed to be having, because does it mean just because you have an 80s aesthetic, you have a better style than someone that has a something else aesthetic? Does that mean that if you're an 80s aesthetic or 90s aesthetic, you are more stylish than someone that has an athleisure aesthetic? Let's all relax. Let's all relax. Your style is nice and it's great. No one's gonna come for you for that. However, let's all leave each other's styles alone. Like, that's just my chat. Let's just leave each other's styles alone. If you feel like they are dressed however they are dressed, let's basically leave everybody to wear whatever they want to wear. Just because you wear a specific aesthetic, it doesn't make anybody else's aesthetic any better or any less than yours. That's all I'm saying. Next opinion says, if an elderly doesn't respect you, you don't owe them respect. 100%. Like, that is self-explanatory. I don't think I need to explain it. There's often times where people, like older people, literally disrespect kids. And hakira kids, I'm even talking as far as like someone that's a teenager, or just elderly people disrespecting you as an individual. Let's put aside the fact that you're a child, or let's put aside the fact that you're much younger than them. Sometimes elderly people don't have respect, and I just don't like that expectation that just because that person is old, I am required to respect them. Nah, it doesn't work like that. I think elderly people must also respect kids and children and people that are much younger than them. The same way we are expected to respect them, they should respect us too. This opinion, I'm gonna say it, and I'm risking with this one, because I might just catch smoke for this one. But guys, I really don't think Tiffany Haddish is funny. Like, I don't think she's funny at all. I don't find her funny. I feel like she tries to be funny. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I feel like with her movies and stuff, like, it doesn't feel like naturally. Like, I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense. Guys, Tiffany Haddish, I feel like forced. Like, I feel like she tries and tries. Like, I don't think I can consider her a comedian. I can consider her an actress. I can definitely consider her an actress, but comedian, no, I'm just not having her. I'm really just not having her. I don't think she's funny at all. Another opinion that I love and agree with, man. It says, if you feel like money does not buy happiness, it just means that you do not have enough of it. 100% agree. 100%. If money is not going to buy you happiness, then you just don't have enough of it. That's all. That's literally all. Anyways, this brings us to the end of our video. Thank you very much for watching this video this far. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, tell everybody, tell your friends, tell your neighbor, tell your neighbors, tell everybody to watch my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Hello, stranger. It's been a minute since we last kicked it.